at 9:40 a.m. I almost said 9:48, but 9:40. Hopefully you are having a great day so far. Got up, got the kids to school, got a walk in, mile and a half, and here we are starting to look at what's going on in the world of sports and just what's going on. And we tried to do the daily Craig show kind of around lunchtime, and it just got to be too busy. Getting lunch ready, continuing to work, and then starting the kid pickup super early. Got to pick the kids up at 2:10 and 3:05 this year, so it's a little early for us. Got to get in line super early before that, as everybody knows. But I think what I'm going to try to do is do this in the morning, hopefully between 9 and 9:30. Try to maybe get it scheduled in advance. This one's just kind of spur of the moment. Had something, but then kind of got canceled. So here we are doing a little bit of talking. So thanks for joining me. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel, like the video. The chat is open, so I'd love to have your feedback, even if you're watching this later. Let's start to engage, talk a little bit, and hopefully build up some fun in here, really. So first thing I want to talk about, released the video early this morning on the shorts side of YouTube, but one thing that is really all over the sports world is Travis Kelce's knee. It was hyperextended. It sounds like it's a bruise. He's still questionable for tomorrow. A couple ways of thinking about this. The spread went from 6.5 to 5. Now it's down to 4.5. So I don't think Vegas thinks he's playing. It would be total Travis Kelce and total Chiefs if he comes out there at the very last minute, catches 3 touchdowns, has 130 yards, and just has an absolutely monumental, huge game. Doesn't that just sound perfect for Travis Kelce and the Chiefs? Realistically, what they should do, probably keep them on the shelf, see what they can do. I picked the Chiefs still. I like the Lions. I really do believe in the Lions. I think that they can win their division. I just don't think that they are going to get the job done tomorrow. I think Arrowhead is going to be a rockin'. I think it is going to be an absolute madhouse. I think Mahomes is going to be focused in. And I think the Lions I don't think they have enough firepower to keep up tomorrow. Again, them for the division, they're the sweetheart pick right now. Them and the Jacksonville Jaguars appear to be kind of the 2 hot teams. So I think that long term and through the season, they're going to be pretty good. I really think at the end of the day, I don't really trust Minnesota. I think it's either going to be them or Green Bay winning the division, and I think that they get the job done. I really do. But I don't think that they win tomorrow. I think that the Chiefs win. I think that they cover. I think it's a pretty convincing win, if you're asking me. So we'll see what happens there. The Travis Kelce thing and the Chris Jones. Chris Jones is not playing. He's not playing for a while. He already said it. He's going to sit out for a bit. But the Travis Kelce thing's huge. He's a huge weapon, probably their number 1 weapon for Mahomes to throw to. So it's going to be a big challenge for them to kind of offset that, see what they can do. But I truly think that the magic is there in Arrowhead, and they will get the job done and get the win, basically. So another thing to kind of look at, a lot of people are talking about our Indianapolis Colts here. I think their over-under is 5 wins. I'm a big Anthony Richardson guy. Obviously, he's our franchise quarterback. I've been hearing a lot of our local pundits and a lot of local interviews here with all the local reporters. What a joke. What a joke some of these news stories are. And I don't know anything more than what they think they know, but for you to go on a radio station on a Wednesday morning and say, I've got to see Anthony Richardson improve and get better. You haven't seen him play. You've seen him in shorts and a t-shirt at training camp. You've seen him play a vanilla offense in the preseason, and you've seen him, 3 to 4 practices with another team where everything is very, very scripted. And you're already saying that you need to see him get better. It's absolutely a joke, the lines that people just take over and over and over. Now, I'll finish with my Colts, and then I'll get onto that rant, but I think the Colts are going to be really bad this year. I really do. I think the people that they have money tied into, that offensive line, it was bad last year. They've got to make an improvement. I don't know how they're going to. What has Chris Ballard improved since this team finished with 4 wins last year? That's the question. What did he improve? Receivers? I like Josh Downs, as you can tell. I'm a Carolina guy. I think he's going to be really, really good. Defensively, who did you improve? What'd you do? You lost Rodgers. Is Shaq Leonard coming back? appears to kind of be. My point is, there wasn't a lot done by this team other than, hey, we have a franchise quarterback. They didn't give him any more weapons. They gave him one more receiver, which is great, but it's an undersized slot receiver that is going to make a ton of plays, but he's not going to be that big, huge, tall, throw it up and go get it receiver. They added some tight ends, but that room is so inconsistent from the last few years that you have no idea what you're going to expect. And now injuries are piling up. You don't have his number one weapon standing right next to him in shotgun. That is a Jonathan Taylor issue, and that's a Colts issue. We've talked about that on the channel before. But ultimately, at the end of the day, when you look at the Colts, their power rankings are second to last behind the Cardinals. You could probably argue that the Cardinals are in full pump mode, and they're okay with not getting any victories. They're okay with, letting Dobbs play. They're okay with not allowing a lot of development from their team. And really, at the end of the day, that's kind of what they're all in for. So are they after the Caleb Williams? Are they in the Caleb Williams lottery? For sure. But the Colts aren't. The Colts are second. So the Colts definitely have everything hitched to Anthony Richardson, but he has no help and no weapons. The offensive line was so terrible a year ago. So terrible. What do you do this year? What is different? The coaching? Is Shane Steichen going to run a different offense? Yeah, for sure. But my fear is the team is so hitched to what Anthony Richardson does right now that nobody else in the team really has a chance not to develop. That's the wrong word, but Chris Ballard has had such a spotlight on getting the quarterback right that all these other positions and all these other areas are faltering. The offensive line paid a lot. They paid a lot of money to the offensive line with Kelly and Nelson, and neither of them played well at all last year. So you've got to get the line figured out. You got to get them playing better. There's no playmakers. The whole Jonathan Taylor thing is a mess. There is not going to be an answer there. When he comes off PUP, my guess the whole time is he comes off PUP and then he says he's still hurt and goes back and forth, and then finally they put him on the injured list for the year, but he's not going to play anymore. They may try to franchise him or maybe trade him at a later date, but it's going to be a mess. It's going to be interesting. I love Anthony Richardson. I think he looks awesome. From what I've seen, I'm not going to say that he looks like he's a Hall of Famer or if it looks like he needs improvement. Excuse me, but ultimately at the end of the day, he's the guy, and they're basically saying go get it. And we'll see. The defense looked good for the first half of the year, and then the second half looked just awful. They just could not stop anybody. No pass rush. Some guys like Kwity Paye have got to step up, and we'll see what happens there with the Colts. Now, before we get into baseball, I just want to talk a little bit about the media and a little bit about how people cover things. And there's a certain list that you see during draft night, and it's different from the NFL and NBA. NBA, it's wingspan and his get up and gets out and guards and all that stuff. In the NFL, it's athleticism, and he's got a good arm. He's shifty, and Dan Patrick does this all the time. Great keywords for draft. Talk about a draft prospect. Now, we've gone through the training camp, we've gone through the three make-believe games, the preseason, and now here we are ready for the regular season. Nobody knows what any of these teams are. You can sit there and guess, and you can sit there and look at it and say, they look really good on paper. I watch Hard Knocks. I love Aaron Rodgers. I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan. So I think they're the team to beat. If I was betting, I'd put money on them today to go win it all. They look legit. But Aaron Rodgers could be, not that mobile in the pocket once the season starts. Those rookies they had last year could maybe fall off a little bit. Delvin Cook really could have nothing left in the tank. There's a lot of what ifs and a lot of stuff that could happen to prevent them from being as good as they can. Opposite side is true. If you look at my Colts, like we just talked about, or the Cardinals, or some of those teams, the Bears, the Texans, you're like, these teams just aren't very good. They have no playmakers. Well, we have no idea who these people are going to be. Josh Downs could be the next T.Y. Hilton here in Indianapolis. He could be unbelievably awesome, go, make a bunch of catches, and just be so shifty and fast that he just runs away from people. Hopefully, but we don't know that. The way people are out there saying, well, I need to see this from this player. Like tomorrow night, I need to see the Lions. I need to see them prove to me that they're the brand new Lions. Why? Why does that need to prove to you? They've got 17 opportunities to go out there and prove who they are. That's what they need to do. the rookie quarterbacks, all of them are playing. All of them are playing in Carolina, Chicago, Indianapolis. Will Levis will probably come in at some point for Tennessee down the road. But when they're all playing, what do you need to see from them? Do you need to see their team get really, really good? Do you need to see them show that they know what they're doing at the NFL quarterback level? My point is, these reporters that are out there for the next few days saying, oh, I need to see this and this is what I expect and everything, it is complete garbage. It's hilarious what they're out there talking about. I listened to somebody here in Indianapolis literally get on the radio and say, I've got to see Anthony Richardson improve from when I saw him last. You saw him yesterday in practice against a number one defense that's iffy, and everything was scripted and everything was handed to him. You saw him in what 5 drives of preseason where he basically was running the most vanilla offense that you could possibly run. I need to see him improve. That's complete garbage. It is the dumbest thing ever, where people are how they're reporting things. And this is in politics and in real world and sports, everything. It's just unbelievable. So that's another reason I like to do this, is just kind of talk about what I think and what I see and my feelings and stuff like that. But if you're listening to an interview and somebody starts, there's another couple gentlemen that I listen to, one nationally, one locally. I think that they say I don't know at least 10 times in an interview. Hey, what do you think? What do you think's going to happen with the pass rush of the Colts? I just don't know. I don't know. I think that they look good, and that's an interesting answer. It drives you nuts when you're listening to it, but that's the answer that I'd want to know. I have no idea. You know, if you ask me to grade the receivers for the Colts, Michael Pittman's a big, strong dude. He better get down the field. He better make some plays. He better get open. Last year he struggled on that separation. He had a few drops in big times. Josh Downs, quick, shifty guy, fast as crap at North Carolina, but got dinged up. Is he too small for the league? Isaiah McKenzie, you know, kind of the same thing. Smaller, got dinged up a little bit. We'll see what happens there. You know, the tight end room, what happens? Does Mo Alley Cox actually hit where we want him to hit? Does he be a big, tall, strong dude? Can he go up and get it? You know, does Johnny Woods come back from that injury? That running back room, who's going to step up and be the next Jonathan Taylor? That's the stuff we talk about now while we're expecting these games to go on. Once tomorrow night happens on Friday's show, we're going to talk about what we saw. And that's legit, real stuff. Hey, Patrick Mahomes was 18-21 with 3 touchdowns, and they won by 10. That is concrete facts. That's what we look at. That's what we talk about. With concrete facts, let's shift over to Major League Baseball. We're here in Indianapolis, so Cincinnati Red fans unite. That's my team. Didn't look good really early. Had a rookie pitcher on the mound that looked really, really good. Sorry, I'm going to pull up some stuff from yesterday, but basically at the end of the day, we had a walk-off. It was awesome. Ellie De La Cruz got on the top of the inning, and then Encarnacion hit a nice single to right, came home, came over. So the pitcher, Phillips was the starting pitcher, did really, really well, let up a few runs. He basically let up 2 homers to Rodriguez there from the Mariners. He had 4 RBIs, but the Reds win 7-6. A good win. They have taken 2 out of 2 with Seattle. Now today, today's a 6:40 game. Gilbert versus Richardson. Gilbert's really, really good. So this is going to be a struggle. But Richardson got the loss last time, but I think he hung around, pitched well. Just these rookie pitchers, it's interesting. A couple bad pitches here or there. Like one of the home runs for Rodriguez last night was literally grooved right down the middle. Excuse me. It was absolutely right down the middle. So, big league hitters take advantage of that. So, Reds play tonight. They're still fighting for a wild card. We'll see what happens with that. The Twins beat the Guardians. Brewers beat the Pirates. The Brewers are just they're a train right now. They're looking really good. Red Sox lost to the Rays. Dodgers lost to the Marlins. Dodgers are really good. They're dealing with that Urias issue. He got arrested for domestic violence yesterday. Domestic dispute. Not looking too good. This is his second one in like 2 to 3 years, so that's gonna be real iffy. What happens with him if he's allowed to pitch here the next few months? I would say he's done at least for this year. We all saw what happened to Trevor Bauer, with Major League Baseball. The Mets absolutely clobbered the Nationals. Yankees win. They beat the Tigers. Cardinals over the Braves. Cubbies over the Giants. This is another one we want to talk about. The Cubs. They scored 6 in the bottom of the 7th to take the lead. They just are coming. They are scoring runs like crazy. I don't have any stats in front of me about how many runs they're scoring or the averages or anything like that, but every time I look at a Cubs game, they're over 7 or 8 runs. They're just absolutely hammering the ball right now. the opposite of my Reds. My Reds, I feel like, are pitching real well. They're keeping everybody between 4 to 6, but we're not scoring many runs at times. So that's going on. Royals over the White Sox. Astros crushed the Rangers. Altuve at one point was 4 for 4 his last 4 at bats. He had 4 homers. I think he got a single and then a pop out, so he was 4 for 6. But that guy is just lighting it up. Orioles 5-4 over the Angels. The poor Angels, they are just. Ohtani was scratched from the lineup 2 days ago or last night, I forget. He's going to be done. He's going to be done for the year. Might as well get the surgery, put him on the shelf, and see what happens. They're 64 and 75. They thought everything was cruising, but man, that went sideways real quick. Rockies over the D-backs, Blue Jays over the A's, Padres over the Phillies. So the wild card spots are tightening up. Some of the division races are just absolutely a joke, but something interesting to kind of take a peek at. I'm on here on the mothership on ESPN.com. Excuse me. There's a few things going on. The U.S. Open's happening. I grew up, playing tennis. Worked for the tennis tournament in town. I just cannot get the U.S. Open for some reason. It's really interesting to me. I just can't really get into it. We got all these stories about James Harden and his feud. Personally, I'm pretty sick and tired of hearing about it. It's one of those things where nobody's happy. Travis Kelce is a big question. The Heat and the Blazers have had no meaningful talk about Damian Lillard. Easier for me to say, but that's not surprising. Training camp's still a few weeks off. That's not going to happen until the deadline's made. Giancarlo Stanton hit his 400th homer for the Yankees. One weird thing about the U.S. Open, Spain fired their coach because of a controversial kiss. Take that however you want. UNC tennis star Fiona Crawley speaks out about forfeiting the U.S. Open winnings. This is on Sports Illustrated, SI.com. Fiona Crawley plays at North Carolina, really, really good. She got to the she won in a qualifying tournament to get to the U.S. Open, which is an absolute amazing feat. If you don't know anything about tennis, to get to these tournaments, it's amazing. Not everybody's Djokovic or Agassi or Sampras. It takes a lot of work from these guys to get through the qualifying, especially these college athletes. So get through the qualifying, get to the U.S. Open, lost in the first round for the singles and doubles. Again, great competition. $81,000 in earnings. Wow, that's a pretty decent paycheck. High five. No. She couldn't keep it. She couldn't accept it because she's playing for the University of North Carolina, part of the NCAA. She came out and said, I would never take the money or risk my eligibility, but I worked my butt off this week, and it seems unreal. They were football and basketball players making millions on NIL deals, and I can't take money that I worked so hard for. The NCAA tennis players' compensation from events is capped at $10,000 on a per annual basis because it comes since it comes from the sponsor of the event. So if I'm Caleb Williams, that would be awesome. I'm going to go sign an NIL deal with 4 or 5 people, and they're going to pay me $50,000, $100,000, $1 million, whatever it is. Anthony Baycott from my North Carolina Tar Heels had great NIL deals last year. Great. The year before, played awesome. They got to the final game, the championship game, and he had tons of NIL deals, which is fantastic. Made a lot of money. Probably more money at college than he would have made being a late draft pick or an undrafted draft pick, something like that. Football, same thing. Can't even tell you. There's tons of websites out there that'll tell you how much all these guys are making off NIL deals. But now somebody actually earned it. Not that these guys didn't earn it, but with NIL, it's here's a check for your name, image, and likeness. We can use you on a billboard to sell cars or insurance or something. Here's something that you are actually saying, I did this. I'm getting money for that, and they're saying no. So why would the NCAA allow an athlete to kind of showcase off their name in an advertising, but wouldn't let somebody collect a winner's check when they actually do something? Like, I don't even understand why the NCAA still exists, number one, and number two, why they even think that that's something that is a viable option, a viable solution. Now, she said the right stuff. I'm not going to take the money. My eligibility is not going to go away. I'm not going to hurt the greatest university in history. But think about that for a second. An athlete actually does something to be successful, and then they kind of get dinged for it by basically just saying, yeah, sorry about you. Not going to work. So what are we doing here? Why is the NCAA doing this? Same for volleyball, probably. Same for all these other sports. It's just golf is a great example. If you're a golfer, you go qualify for a tournament and you're allowed to make X amount of money because of where you finished. And they're basically saying, no, that's a winnings. It's not sponsorship. The dumbest thing ever. But I don't get it. I never will get it. Hopefully, if you're a college athlete, you can get an NIL deal. Hopefully, you can get out there and get some money. I do like the whole NIL opportunity. It is frustrating because the NCAA college football game was supposed to be coming out this year, but it got pushed back, and it's because of NIL. The Caleb Williams saying, well, yeah, you can use me in the game. You got paid $50,000 or $100,000. It's going to turn into Madden where they're going to have to show up and give every single player a check if they're in the game. So, an interesting thing. Also, there's a video you need to check out there. I will put the link below once we get wrapped up here. There is a great 7-minute video of the Mannings trying to find the third host for the Manning cast. It's unbelievable. It's hilarious. Lots of great NFL talent is on there. Some really funny parts. I like Sean McVay. He starts talking with the clipboard in front of his face, kind of like he does on the sideline. Absolutely hilarious. My guess for that is Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee starts at ESPN tomorrow. Being here in Indy, we've loved Pat for a long time. He's been our kicker. He's hilarious. He's awesome. But I listen to his show every day or watch it. I think it's an amazing show. I'm kind of, with the majority, wondering what's going to happen when we go to ESPN. He's got so many great guests on there, so many great people that he talks to. And, part of what makes it funny is the language and the topics. And that stuff cannot fly at ESPN. It just won't. So it's going to be real interesting to see what happens there, because you can't come out talking about the F word and all kinds of things. So we'll see what happens when he moves over. But I'll put the link below to that to that short video for the Manning cast. It's absolutely hilarious. Make sure you check it out. And I think that's going to wrap it up for us. Tonight we've got more baseball on tap. Let's see what's going on. It's really kind of one of those like, oh my gosh, it's the day before Christmas. It's the last day before NFL tomorrow. We got Brewers, Pirates, Twins, Guardians, Giants and Cubs, Jays and A's, Rockies, D-backs, Phillies, Padres, Mariners, Reds, Red Sox, Rays. Everything up to the Reds is really an afternoon game. Dodgers, Marlins, Mets, Nationals, Tigers, Yankees, Cardinals, Braves, White Sox, Royals, Astros, Rangers, and Orioles, Angels. Whew. Full day on the old diamonds there. We also have Medvedev versus Rublev, Alcatraz versus Zverev on the U.S. Open. That's on the men's side. What is that, the semis? Yeah, it's got to be the semis. So we're getting there. Tournament's moving quite along. Anyway, some soccer friendlies, stuff like that going on. But really the big news of the week is the NFL kicking off this weekend. People injured, looking at lines, stuff like that. Can Dion and Colorado keep it rolling? They play against Nebraska. Nebraska's defense looks solid, but their offense looks awful. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But that's it for us. We're going to go ahead and start our day. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I try to release 3 or 4 or 5 different little shorts each day. They could be about food or sports or the cat or airplanes. We live really close to the airport, and it's fascinating to me. The airplane's flying over super low. So that may seem weird, but it's something I like to do. So check it out. Make sure you subscribe. And then tomorrow, I'll try to put a reminder out there. I think we may go about 10 o'clock. I think I have a call in the morning. We got some other stuff. Oh, the kitty's getting her little nails clipped. So we'll do that. And then this show won't always be about sports. That's just kind of what we're talking about right now. It's called the Daily Craig Show. So it could be something where we're talking about the weather. We're talking about what's happening in the world, but it is probably going to be more sports centric than anything. So we'll be back tomorrow at 10. So hopefully you join us, and make sure you comment below. Let me know who you think is going to win tomorrow night. Let me know what you think about baseball. Is your team in the running? Let me know about college football. How's your team look? We'll get into that as we get into the weekend, but I'm so thankful you're here, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.